What do you know about Chisinau? How often have you heard that this is a gloomy city, grey, boring, and that there is absolutely nothing to do here? This is partly true, but not completely. Today I will tell you about the contrast of this city. I will try to prove to you how beautiful, in fact, this city is. I will try to prove that this is a city that is undoubtedly worth visiting. And believe me, after the first time in this city, you'll love it as much as I do. I often heard from people who visited this city how they say that it is a faded, dirty city with broken roads, grey houses, gloomy people, and a lot of homeless animals on the street. And it's really sad to say that, but that's true. Chisinau is the capital of the poorest European country. The old European architecture was completely destroyed by Russians during the period when Moldova was occupied by Soviet troops and added to part of the Soviet Union. Looking at the city, you could tell that the city will never be able to get rid of the Soviet legacy. Soviet monuments, log houses, and even the outline of the city streets betray its Soviet past. But how they say in this popular song, let's skip to the good part. You know, time is flying fast, and the city is changing every day. The majority of residents of this city, especially the younger generation, won't forget about the Soviet past. If earlier it could be said that Russian speakers mainly live in the city, now this is really far from true. Even if young people understand some Russian, they speak it very poorly. Many, as I noticed, don't want to speak it at all. Today, a lot of people has become proud of their Romanian roots, and many of them, in addition to Romanian and Russian, also speak very fluent English or even French. In the last 20 years, Moldovans have begun to travel more and more. Many of them choose to stay in other countries. For example, today in Italy, Germany, France, United Kingdom, or even Russia, why not? You can find a huge communities of Moldovans. Many of them settled down and their children had never ever been to Moldova. But still, a huge number of people choose to stay in the country and they try to contribute to its development. Today, Chisinau is the largest city in Moldova. According to official data, about 700,000 people live here. However, together with students, people who come here every day from other cities and villages, we can say that about 1 million people live in this city every day. So it's not surprising that all government buildings, the largest parks, a huge part of business, and in general, all the newest things that appear in Moldova appear in Chisinau. Over the past few years, this entire part of the population who saw how people live in other countries began to invest in business in Moldova. And as I already said, almost everything new that appears in Moldova appears in Chisinau. Walking around the city, you can look up and see huge glass office buildings, and then look down and see old, small houses where mostly old people live. And I can use these words to describe almost the entire city center. The fact is that the people who live here built their houses back in Soviet times, which is why they look so old. And because of the value of the land, they could sell their homes and move to a new part of the city in new buildings, but they simply don't want to do that. Somehow, I can understand them. After they will sell their house in which they lived all their lives, where they lived all their youth, the house will be destroyed, and in this place will appear a new, high and fashionable building. But that's it. Time flies, and the city is changing more and more. And speaking about changes, Moldova has embarked on that path of integration into European Union. Even the official authorities of the country say that by 2030, Moldova should become a member of European Union, and you won't believe, but these people really want this. One of my German friends who visited Chisinau say that he was surprised by how many European flags there are. And it's true. On every corner, on every building, you can see the national flag, and next to it, the official flag of the European Union. Thanks to European investments, the city is changing really fast and is changing for better. Chisinau residents are restoring historical buildings and giving them a new life, which is absolutely good. If while walking around the city center you see a beautiful building, most likely it was restored thanks to European money. Also, thanks to European investments, a lot of roads, youth centers, or even parks are being built. By the way, about parks, I think you have already noticed that the city is unusually green. The fact is that Chisinau is often called one of the greenest cities in Europe, and this is true. In the city, you can find a lot of parks, from huge botanical park to small dog parks. During the few days that I filmed this video, I had to walk around 20 kilometers every day. And even so, I still didn't have time to visit all the parks that are in the city. However, I can say with certain that the places I have visited left the most pleasant impression on me. Walking through the Valle Morilor Park, among tall trees, you can also stumble upon a wonderful place where everyone can feel like a child again. You might say that there is nothing special about this place. Maybe you will say that there are thousands and maybe even hundreds of thousands of places like this in this world, and you'll be right. However, does the fact that there are other places on the planet where you can find butterflies make this place worse or less interesting? I can say with confidence, no. The answer is no. Another place in the city that I recommend you visiting is a hill from which you can see the entire city. Again, you can say that such hills can be found in many places. And that's true, but not every hill can show you this city. By the way, I cannot even describe how good is that. All over the city you can find small shops where you can buy drinks or snacks. I mean, during the summer, this is just what you need. But there is another place in the city that offers you a wonderful view. And the most important thing is that this place is located right in the center of the city. I'm talking about the water tower, or let's say, I'm talking about the building that was the water tower in the past, but today has become a city museum. To be honest, I haven't seen any videos on YouTube where anyone talks about this place, and that's a pity. I mean, how can someone talk about this or that city without even trying to understand its essence? To understand a city, you must first understand what it went through, how it was built, who or what influenced the way it looks like today. If you are visiting Chisinau, this museum should be a must visit place. The good part is that it won't be difficult to find it. Almost any person on the street will tell you where this building is located. However, not every person will know that this is a museum and that you can and should visit it. And again, isn't it a pity? Probably the residents of Chisinau, as well as Moldovans in general, still need a lot of time to understand who they are, what their history is, and how to learn from it. Remember what I told you about the city buildings in the beginning of the video? About how the Soviet authorities destroyed what was there and built typical Russian houses here. After visiting this museum, it will be more clear to you that this all was part of a big plan to destroy the national identity of Moldovans. Once again, if you're a tourist in Chisinau, this place should be on your list. Now back to what I promised you, another great view of the city. On the top floor of the tower, you will see a large room with access to a balcony. By the way, here, in addition to the beautiful view, I met this beautiful woman in a national costume who was manually creating a carpet with national ornament. And at this moment, I was incredibly happy to see this because who knows if I will ever be able to see someone else who's making a carpet with old tools. I really support everything national, folkloric, and authentic. With all of these smart homes, artificial intelligence, new phones, smartwatches, headphones, microphones, new social media, stories, likes, and so on, we completely forgot about the roots. And moments like this, people like this, that makes you think about a lot of things, sometimes they are really needed. And now, because we are talking about folklore, let's move on to the next museum. National Museum of Ethnography and Natural History. This huge building in the city center is remarkable because it looks like it's a building from the Middle East or, for example, North Africa. I can easily imagine this building somewhere in Morocco, Turkey, or Tunisia. If you are interested in the culture of different nations, then this place was created just for you. Here you can get acquainted with Moldovan culture from different parts of the country. In addition to culture, here we can also get acquainted with representatives of the flora and animal world. Also, here we can find all kinds of mutations of animals or the bones of prehistoric elephants that lived in these territories. Going back to the town, it's important to notice that most of the local restaurants where you can eat are located on the main streets. On the one hand, it's logical to open a business where there are the most people, but on the other hand, it's very, I would say, different. Because walking along the streets of Germany or Spain, I often came across restaurants in alleys or small streets. Probably because there are less cars on such streets and visitors can have lunch in peace, which is also quite logical for me. I don't know if it's good or bad. It doesn't matter. It's just another fact that immediately catches your eyes when you're walking around the city. And if we finally came to this point, it will be a sin not to tell you about the local food. The local food will probably seem very simple to you, even too simple. But believe me, that's the beauty of it. One of the main dishes of Moldovan cuisine is mamaliga. It's just boiled cornmeal with salt, and that's all. And it's freaking delicious. Among other dishes, cabbage rolls are considered traditional even if this dish is of Turkish origin. Speaking of cuisine, Moldovan cuisine can be described as a variety of everything. I mean, here you can find Romanian, Turkish, Russian, Ukrainian, and even Bulgarian cuisine. Each of the cultures made its own mark on Moldovan cuisine, and what appeared after that is wonderful. As in any city, people work during the day, and in the evening, everyone leaves their homes and offices. In fact, it seems to me that at night, there are more people on the streets throughout the city than during the day on the busy street. This could be because it's summer outside and it's more comfortable to go for a walk in the evening, or because this city is especially beautiful at night. All over the city, the lights are bright and colorful, and the decoration that go along with the colorful lamps give this city a fairy tale look. I think Chisinau is a beautiful city, even if many people say bad things about it. Yes, small houses, yes, broken roads, and yes, it probably doesn't have the same opportunities that other cities on the planet can provide to you. But there is something here that makes this place unique, and I'm talking about people. A simple Chisinau resident will always help you if you ask him for help on the street. He will always share what little he has, and he will always talk to you on the street, and with a smile on his face, he will tell you something as if you have known each other for all of your life. Maybe from the first day, you will regret coming here. You will want to go back to your usual habitat. But believe me, you should give just one tiny chance, and you will fall in love with this city, the same as I did.